The purpose for this tutorial is to talk you through how to create an exam or a test or a quiz in the Blackboard online learning management system. I'm on the home page of my Sandbox course at this time. I've created a content folder, which is just a hyperlink that goes to a place that will hold content. You've seen this already in other videos where you add content. We're going to be adding an assessment, also known as a test, also known as a quiz. And what you do is you mouse over assessments and you click test. Now, the way Blackboard works is it's set up so that the tests, the exams are created first. And then you deploy them in the specific areas you wish to deploy them. So you don't do both of those items at the same time. And this is a good opportunity for me to show you that I have a Chapter 1 exam already created if I wanted to put that inside the content folder, because remember that's what I clicked on. All I have to do is click on that and submit, and it will place the Chapter 1 exam that I've already created into that content area. So I did that, and this is what we get. And I'm going to go ahead and click submit. So right now inside the content folder I have a Chapter 1 exam, but let's say that I want another exam, only it's not created yet. Now we're going to start from scratch. What you do is you click the create button, you give the exam a name. The first one was named Chapter 1, this one's named Chapter 2, and if you want to give a description and to that exam that talks about what it covers, you certainly may do that. But the first thing you do is set those things. That's it. Now you click submit. And at this point, it's asking you what type of questions do you want to create for this exam. And by mousing over create question, you can see all of the options that you have. Take just a second. Look at those. I'm going to go with some obvious ones. We're going to create a 2-question exam. I'm going to choose multiple choice. One thing I want to point out is this is not where you type the question in. That's just another way of organizing your questions if you so choose to use it. This is where you type the actual question. So I'm going to say, what is today's date? This will obviously date this recording, but that's okay for me. There are some options that are available for you. When you scroll down, you'll see the answers. You can have as many options for multiple choice as you wish. Right now, this one has 4. I'm going to remove the 4th one, and I'm only going to have 3 just for the sake of time. So I'm scrolling back down again, and I'm going to say, the question was, what is today's date? I'm going to say April 6th, I'm going to say May 12th, and I'm going to say October 6th. The correct answer for this recording is October 6th. If you wish the student to see some statement, if they get the answer correct, you type that statement here. If they get a correct answer on this question, you can also type in a response you would like for them to see. And I'm going to come to the bottom, click submit. So I have my first question created. It is a multiple choice question stating what is today's date. I'm going to add another question, and I'm going to make it a true false just so that you can see what that looks like. Remember, this first space is not where you type the question. The second space is. I am going to say the season is fall. And again, I selected true false. You can decide whether you want true and false to be vertical, which is the way you see it here, or horizontal, which will be side by side. I'm going to leave it at vertical because that's what our students are used to. The answer is true, so I'm marking the correct answer. Again, if I want them to give them feedback on their correct response, I type there. Incorrect response, I type there. I'm going to go ahead and accept that. And now I have 2 questions. I have the first one, which is a multiple choice, and I have the second one, which is a true false. But what you can't see, let me minimize the window so that you can, is that it by default has assigned 10 points for each one. Well, this is going to be a 2-question test, and because it is, and we want everything to meet 100%, that means this needs to read 50 and this needs to read 50. There's 2 ways you could do that. You can actually click on it and manually change this to 50 if you so choose. The fastest way is select all, which puts a check mark by all of your questions. You know how many you have, and you can say I want them all to be worth, in this case, 50 points. If you had 5, they would be worth 20 points, right? And I'm going to click update, and when I do, even the bottom one now says 50. So this test is complete. I have all of my questions assigned. I'm going to click OK. So now you'll notice that I have a Chapter 2 test that's showing up in the box. I'm going to go back to my content folder. I have Chapter 1 showing, but let's say that I want to add the Chapter 2 test here. I'm going to select Chapter 2 and click Submit. Now both of them have been deployed in this area. I have, when you go to deploy it in the area you wish students to see it organization-wise, you have some options. One of which is make it available. You can click yes. You can always go back and change this. These are some of the same items if you worked in Angel with North Georgia Tech, some of the same items that you would see under the Settings tab. When you get to the bottom, you click Submit, and boom, now they can see Chapter 2. Now notice this one says item is not available for students. That's your cue. And what you do is go to Test Options, and that's when you get to the Settings portion, Make Link Available. I'm going to say yes and click Submit, and now it will no longer say that it's not available. Now this says description of Chapter 1 because I gave it one. Let me show you. Go back to Edit Test Options, and this is the description it's talking about. I'm going to type here and I'm going to save those changes. Now they'll both have a description. Okay, so that's all there is to the basics of creating an exam, creating it manually. Remember that you can go in and create exams without deploying them and then put them later exactly where they're supposed to be, behind the correct folders, organizationally where you want them to go. So what you do is you go assessments, test, create, and you would just do this over and over again, creating, and then when you get ready to deploy it, you go to the folder you want to deploy it at, you go to test again, and you'll see all of them listed, and you simply would select the one you wish to deploy at that particular spot in the course. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. This has been a quiz talking about how to create exams, also known as tests, also known as quizzes, also known as assessments, inside the Blackboard learning environment.